Hi and welcome to my video again. Today we're going to make chicken marsala. It's one of my favorite dishes. I think actually it's very popular in America. A lot of people like it. So let's see what ingredients do we need. We need a little bit of rosemary, garlic, Marsala wine, about 1 cup, and please use a wine from Italy. The flavors are much better. We have chicken broth. I have 2 teaspoons of flour with a little bit of chicken broth, parsley. I will add to it a little bit asparagus, oil, pepper, salt, chicken. Again, another side dish is pasta. I'm going to have mushrooms. I put a little bit shallots and garlic. I did bring the chicken to room temperature. And what we're going to do now, we're going to pound it a little bit to make it flat so it can cook nice and evenly and quick. So I put it in a plastic bag and I pound it very gently. And I bring it to about 1/4 inch thick. That way it cooks faster and cook evenly. This is one, and the next two I'm going to do it together. As you can see, it's about 1/4 inch. I'm going to do the next two. This one is a bit thinner, this one is a bit thicker, but you pound it accordingly. Always do it in a plastic bag. It's much better and you can control what you do. So this one is already done. Now again, pound it gently, so it will So I'll take it out, put it here, put it here, and then what I'm going to do, drizzle a little bit salt in both sides and let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, I drizzle a little bit salt in it and I'm going to let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's going to be more tenderized and not get dry. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take the chicken breast, cover that with a little bit of flour that I put some salt and pepper in it, a little bit olive oil in the pan. I like to use a cast iron. It's much easier to cook with. It's evenly hot and it really gives you a nice brown color to the chicken nicely. So let's do that. At the same time, I preheated the oven at 200, so when I take it out of the pan, I like to keep it nice and warm. 200 is just keep it nice and warm and it's not cooking it. So I'm doing this one, same thing here. Shake it. I don't like to use a lot of oil. And now another thing that people do at that point, before they put the chicken, they add some butter. So I'm trying to cut down on fat intake in it. So if you feel like you want to add butter, be my guest, more than welcome. It's not wrong, but I'm just trying to cut down as much as I can in fat. So let it cook slowly and wait for it to get nice and brown. It's a dish that you can easily make in advance, but it's not as good as you do it when it's fresh and you serve it right away. So if it will be me, I like to serve it right away. To do it in advance, it becomes tricky because it's hard to keep the chicken nice and cooked and not too dry. So now the chicken, I got a nice golden color in both sides. I'm going to take it out, put it on the rack, and then I'm going to keep it in the oven at 200 degrees so it will stay nice and warm. So the chicken is in the oven. I like to keep it at 200 degrees to keep it nice and warm. I'm going to start to make the rest of the dish. I'm going to put a little bit more olive oil. I'm going to take some shallots that I chopped, put it in here, let it saute a little bit. And then I'm going to put some garlic into it. Give me a second. Yes. And deglaze the pan. Everything is flavors. So just a little bit saute that. And at this point I'm going to put the garlic. I'm using 2 cloves of garlic. You can put more or less if you want, but I think 2 should be enough for this dish. I like that crush because it's, you know, you dissolve it easily, it spread the flavor evenly and cook much faster than chopping it. So as we do that, I'm going to finish chopping the mushrooms. And then I'm going to add the mushroom to it. So I'm going to finish chopping the mushrooms. I'm going to add it into the pan with the shallots and garlic. We'll develop the flavors. Almost ready here. And now I'm going to put the whole thing into the pan. It has the shallots, the onions, and let the flavors develop together and cook the mushroom. Mix it nicely. And as you can see, when you use a cast iron pan, the heat is nicely even and it's easier to really cook in it. Okay, so I let it cook a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit, put some black pepper, not much, just some salt, and just let it cook. So while it's sauteing slowly, I like to take a branch of rosemary. Most people don't do it, but I think it adds another flavor, another layer of flavor to the dish. So I'm going to just throw it in there and saute the mushrooms with it. Later I will remove it. And again, let it cook a little bit. I'm waiting for the mushrooms to get nice and get a nice color to it. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and we sauteed the mushrooms. You don't want to overcook it because it's still going to cook with the rest of the things that we have. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in the Marsala wine in here. And what you're going to do, you're going to let it cook halfway through, let it evaporate it halfway. So we let it do that, take its time. Okay, I let the wine evaporate a little bit. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the chicken broth, get it in here. Again, let it cook slowly and evaporate a little bit, but at the same time, I'm already going to put in the flour and the chicken broth mixed together. So what it will do, it will start to thicken the sauce a little bit. And in a minute or two, I will put the chicken back in it just to get some of the flavors before I finish the dish. Okay, while the sauce is being boiled and evaporated a little bit, I will make the asparagus, which what I did earlier, I put it in hot boiling water with a little bit salt, and then in ice water. So I blanch it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit olive oil, not much, with garlic. Let it get warm, and then I'm going to saute the asparagus, and that will be part of the dish. So just, you know, give me a minute. So I put a little bit olive oil, garlic, let the flavor of the garlic infuse into the olive oil. And now what I'm going to do, just saute just a little bit the asparagus. I like to add this, some black pepper, a little salt, and just kind of saute it a little bit, and that will be another part of the dish. At this point, I'm going to take the chicken out of the oven, and then I'm going to add it into the sauce to just kind of get the flavors of the sauce. At the same time, I'm going to put the chicken into the sauce just to observe a little bit of the flavor of the wine and the shallots and the mushrooms, just a few minutes in each side. So it's another process. Then I'll take it out in a minute and finish the dish, and then I'll start making the pasta as well while we're talking. In fact, I'll do it right now. Again, the pasta is just a little bit as a side dish, so I'm not going to do a lot of it. So I'm putting the pasta in boiling water with a dash of salt. It's going to cook for about 6 to 8 minutes, and it will be ready. Meanwhile, I'm going to turn around the chicken. As you can see, the sauce slowly getting thickened, and the chicken not only just cooking a little bit more, but you observe the sauce into the chicken. And getting the pasta ready. So it's been a few minutes, and I turned the chicken both sides around. So just to let it kind of observe the flavors of the Marsala wine, the mushrooms, the shallots, the garlic, and I'm going to let it set aside a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to let the mushrooms and the sauce thicken a little bit. As you can see, it's getting much thicker. Now again, some people like to use butter. I'm trying to use less, so you don't have to not use butter. But I think, you know, as you can see, it looks as good with butter, just less fat. I'm waiting for the pasta to get ready, and we're almost ready to start to plate the dish. Okay, while we're finishing with the sauce and it's getting ready, I'm going to chop some parsley, fresh parsley, and then I'm going to finish the dish. I'm going to put some of the parsley already in the sauce, and then some just to decorate when we finish. So we have that. I'm going to put some of the parsley in the sauce. Some more. Mix it. Okay, at this point I'm going to take the chicken. I'm going to plate the plate. 1, 2 pieces. I'm going to have some asparagus over here. And a little bit of the mushrooms and the sauce. And what I like to do is, I think it tastes fantastic when you do it, is to use the pasta with what I've left in the sauce, and then put it and plate it with it. Amazing flavors, and I think it adds another thing to the dish, which I like. So what I'm going to do, I'm putting the pasta here. Mix it nicely. Just give it a minute or two to observe the flavors of the mushrooms and all that. And then we're going to finish the plating. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the pasta. Not a lot, because it's just a complimentary thing for the dish. And put it in the dish and add a little bit of the mushroom to it. A little bit parsley. And this is the dish. Bon appetit.